Right, my stream appears to be live. I thought I'd get a quick recording in of the next section while I've got a little bit of time today. We finished the last session with almost everybody in a very poor situation against the Dire Weasel. The kobolds were fine, but the surprise attack from the Dire Weasel against two of the characters was a bit of a problem. And this obviously highlights one of the issues um, with third edition and a lot of games anyway is the fact that the party need to rest before they want to continue now. And I would say it's kind of an issue that I don't know exactly how to solve. I suppose in 5th edition they started to do a little bit of a job to try and resolve that. Even in 4th edition, I think they were looking at these like short rest periods. Maybe that's the way to go. I'm not sure, but as it stands here, the cleric is out of action, which is the main problem. And we don't have any potions of healing or anything like that. So everyone's got to stay in this room. What makes things worse is that, unbeknownst to the party, there are a bunch of rats hiding in these barrels up here. If they close the door, which I don't really need to draw it, but just for the sake of things, let me draw the door. Use a polygon line. That's what I wanted. Let me draw the door there, so we can see. So the party are going to need to rest here for 8 hours. I guess Gothram is going to start by removing bodies from the room. Rinja is going to stay there complaining like an elf. And in terms of the unconscious kobolds over here, I wonder if Gothram would just finish them off or tie them up. What's his alignment? True neutral. I think he's going to finish them off. Just going to double check that the stream is working. Okay, it's not great, but it's better than me having to wait for a couple of hours for a video to upload later on. So it's for my convenience more than anything else. And I guess Gothram is going to actually search the bodies of these kobolds as well. So each kobold has 11 gold pieces in his or her belt pouch. In addition, the third kobold carries a beautiful oval-shaped amethyst and a small iron key in his pouch as well. So that will come in useful for locking the door for the room that they're in, so they won't get surprised later on. The amethyst was a reward from the warband's leader to the head of this area's watch force for being particularly bloodthirsty in the slaughter of the miners. It has a value of 150 gold pieces. So there were 9 kobolds with 11 gold pieces each. So we're going to have 99 gold pieces. Let's write down our treasure here. 99 gold pieces and an amethyst. And Gothram will do an appraise on it, though I think Rinja might have the ability as well. So appraise for Gothram is +2. I think that he's going to get it says a +2 on appraise checks that are related to stone or metal items. I'm not sure that counts really. Whether gemstones count as stone, I don't think so. Um, Rinya has a +3 bonus. He's gonna help out the dwarf. I think. I feel like dwarves would have a bonus in appraising gems, so I'm going to give him the +2 bonus. We're saying that Gothram has a +4 bonus, and Rinya has a +3 bonus, so he's going to try and help. He rolls a 20, so he's going to give a +2 bonus to Gothram. And let's just... So we're saying Gothram, +2 for being a dwarf, +2 from aid another, so he's getting a +6 bonus. And let's have a quick look at the player's handbook to see exactly how appraise works. So you can appraise common or well-known objects within 10% of their value, DC 12. Failure means you estimate the value at 50 to 150% of the actual value. The DM secretly rolls 2d6 plus 3. So let's say the actual value is 150. And the appraisal, let's just do the check. So he's getting a +6 bonus. He rolls a 16, so 22. So he'll be able to right, so that's for a well-known object. I don't think it is that. Rare or exotic items require a successful check against DC 15, 20 or higher. If successful, you estimate the value at 70% to 130% of its actual value. The DM secretly rolls 2d4 plus 5, multiplies by 10%, multiplies the actual value by that percentage and tells you that value for the item. Failure means that you cannot estimate the item's value. Okay, so we'll say that it's a rare or exotic item. It's not a common item. Therefore, DC, whether it's 15 or 20, is fine. So he's going to estimate the value at 70 to 100. So we need to roll 2d4 plus 5. That's 4 plus 5 is, so 90%. So 135 gold pieces is what they think the value of it is. Fine. So that's done. Gothram doesn't have any way to heal at the moment. While he is busy actually looting the bodies, we'll save that actual appraisal for later on if Rinya actually survives what is about to happen, which is he is going to search this larder. Right. So the trap that drops sacks of flowers is found. Oh, and also I need to do the experience at some point as well, because the dire weasel was challenge rating 2. The trap. So, trap. Several sacks of flour are tightly hung from the ceiling by a framework of ropes. The interiors of the sacks are lined with a sharp wire, which is in turn connected to a single ripcord hanging by the group of barrels at the north wall. Anyone who takes the time to make a search check in the room almost certainly will discover the fairly obtrusive trap. Once it is noticed, no roll is necessary to disable the trap, assuming the PCs have access to the ripcord, i.e. it is not in the hand of a kobold across the room. So the kobolds probably should have activated that trap, but never mind. Rinra is going to start searching the room. He rolls a 16 and his search is 5. So he's going to get 21 in searching the room. And I wonder about hearing the rats, whether he's going to be able to do that. But anyway, he would have found the trap. So it can be easily disarmed. If the kobolds had actually activated, it would have obscured the sight of anyone within the area. For the first 2 rounds after the trap is sprung, anyone standing in the radius has a 20% mischance with any form of attack. Okay, so that's all it was. It's challenge. I'm not going to bother awarding the challenge rating because I forgot to even activate it or anything. So, 2 sets of creatures wait in the room. Barrels 2 and 5 are each filled with rats, 4 apiece. So barrels 2 and 5. I will actually go to the proper map that I have of this this adventure. Okay, well, it doesn't actually tell me which ones are 2 or 5. It doesn't matter at all, I suppose. They will not venture out of the barrels unless they are somehow disturbed, be it by someone smashing the barrels, rifling through their contents, tipping them over, etc. Any of these instances will provoke an attack from the maddened rats, which are suffering from the effects of the plague and therefore contagious and are fairly hungry to boot. So, if Rinra actually disturbs the barrels rather than just opening them up, then they will attack. Oh, it did actually miss. The dire weasel had some special attacks here. Not to worry, he was quite dangerous enough as it was. The shelves contain very little of value. They are laden with poor quality food, most of it contagious due to the presence of the rats and kobolds, and some basic food preparation and storage utensils. The 6 barrels, however, hold a few goods worthy of further examination. In the instance that one of the barrels is targeted for an attack, all 6 are alike in the following stats. Right, okay. So, as Rinra searches through all the food and everything, he will find that there's not much of particular value. And whether or not he's going to open up the barrels, we will do a D6 roll, I suppose. On 4 or more, then he will investigate the barrels. He rolls a 1, he decides to leave them and just sit down and care for the others. Gothram will then return to the room. They will do the appraisal of their gem, and then I guess they will get about healing in order for the rest of the party to cure quicker. Let's go quickly back to the player's handbook to look at heal. So, I think we looked at this last time, but long-term care I think is only for a whole day. Providing long-term care means treating a wounded person for a day or more. If successful, you let the patient recover hit points or ability points at twice the normal rate, 2 hit points per level for each day of light activity. So, I mean, currently, what are we on here? We've got -3, got -7, -6, and -4. So we're looking at 3 days for Yerrick to come back. and then some spells can be cast. Having the cleric going down is a big problem. And certainly it seems like maybe a few more spells should have been cast, such as Protection from Evil or something like that. If we think carefully about this, these kobolds are not the only ones in the mine. There is a very strong chance that the rest of the kobolds would, at some point, investigate what's going on here and attempt to break open the door. Rinja and Gothram are in somewhat of a predicament here. What they will do is barricade the door here. I guess we'll do a check on whether it opens inwards or outwards. I mean, I would say from looking at things, it would seem more appropriate that it opened outwards. So let's say on a 1 or 2 it opens this way. On a 3 or more it opens this way. 4. So it does open into the room, so they'll be able to barricade it off with a bunch of tables. So they'll do that. And let's have a look at supplies for how much food and everything. So I think actually my Excel spreadsheets are a little bit quicker. The biggest problem would be water. But let's wait 1 day at least. They'll have enough water between them. They've all got water skins, so probably enough to last for 1 day. Gothram is going to eat 1 ration. And Rinja another. Rations, where are they? Yeah, they've got 4 each. In fact, all characters do. Them. So Gothram's heal is +6. Rinja's is based purely on wisdom. He will help out Gothram. He rolls a 19 on his wisdom, so he'll be able to give a +2 bonus. So Gothram has an 8. That's what we said, isn't it? 6 +2, so he's got +8 on his check, and the DC is for long-term care is DC 15. So he manages to get that. It means that we can bring back 2 hit points for Yerrick here. So he's a -1, and then the rest of them are only going to cure 1. See, I feel this. There is a problem here with the fact that if you're in minus figures, you're unconscious. And level 1 characters will be unconscious for, a week after a combat. Which seems inaccurate. I would say maybe they would be able to drift in and out of consciousness. Yerrick might be able to cast some spells, but for them to be completely out for a week is silly, but that's how the game is written. At some point during this time, I think they're going to end up checking the barrels. Let's roll some initiative and do some combat for the rats. Let's go through which barrels they're actually going to investigate. We've got 6 different barrels. So they're both going to investigate barrel number 5 first. It's filled with the remainders of a few contagious wheels of cheese and the rats who have been busily consuming them. A successful search check DC 15 reveals that the bottom of the barrel is in fact false. Right, so the rats are going to attack here. So we've got 4 rats coming out from barrel number 5. And they're tiny creatures, so let's see. Right. They get an attack of opportunity against whoever opens it, and let's roll a d6 to see who actually opens it. It's going to be Guthrum, who's only on 1 hit point. So the rats are going to get 4 attacks of opportunity. Oh, they have a +4 to attack. His armor class is only going to be 13 if he's flat-footed. So we're looking at 9s or more. That's 2, 3 hits. Now, if we go back to the player's handbook and remind us of this very important line, which I feel should be in some way corrected here when it comes to damage. Minimum weapon damage. If penalties to damage bring the damage result to below 1, a hit still deals 1 point of damage. This, I think, is wrong. I would be interested to know. Let me go and grab the 3.5 version of the book. Because I mean, let's think about this. He's on 1 hit point. 3 rats have bitten him in. Let's say they've jumped and bitten on his face. And yeah, it's still the same in 3.5 as well, actually. So three rats have jumped, bitten him on the face, and he immediately falls unconscious and is now dying because of these attacks. I mean, he was in a bad situation as it was, but to me, it seems stupid. But that's how it goes. I mean, this rule means that if we were to let's go and find the weakest possible creature. So the 3.5 edition of the Monster Manual. If we look up by a bat or a toad, I would say a toad is basically harmless. There is no possible way anybody could die to a toad. It's impossible. Unless through disease. But a toad... Okay, a toad doesn't actually have any attacks, so... so that's alright. The other worst creature is a bat. Bats don't have attacks either. Fine. So that's covered, I suppose. Next down, I mean, a rat is 1/8. Alright, so we don't have any examples of literally harmless animals. I mean, a lizard. Could a lizard... A lizard is the same challenge rating as a donkey and a monkey. That seems inaccurate. Anyway, according to the rules, Guthrum, let's actually roll the damage. Oh no, it's always going to be one damage. Because it's 1d3 minus 4. It doesn't matter what you roll, it's going to be 1 damage. Foolishness, I tell you. Guthrum is dying. Let's roll initiative for the rats and for Rinja. Rinja gets a 19. Plus 4 is 23. And the rats get 2 plus 2. So they're on 4. So Rinja gets to act next, and I think really it's Burning Hands to get rid of these rats. Yeah, so let's just find our Burning Hands spell. I think it's just reflex save and damage, so Burning Hands, reflex half, 10-foot semicircular burst. Thin sheet of searing flame shoots from your outspread fingers. You must hold your hands with thumbs touching your... Okay. Any creature in the area of the flames takes 1d4 points of fire damage per your caster level. Flammable materials such as cloth, paper, parchment, and thin wood burn in the flame. If the flames touch them, a character can extinguish burning items as a full round action. So all of these things in the room are going to catch fire, causing unbeknownst problems, but never mind. Might kill the other rats in the other barrels. Anyway, reflex saves from the rats. Their reflex is 4. Let's just check out the DC. Do I have it written here easily? Burning Hands DC 14. So we're looking for 10s from the rats. So and it deals, what did we say, 1d4 damage. 1d4 points of fire damage per cast level. Minimum is always 1, as it said. Though that was weapon damage. I don't know if that applies to other things, like magical damage or whatever, but 2. So yeah, they take half, but they've only got 1 hit point each, so all of them die. And Rinja can, as a full round action, put out the fire, then try and heal. Well, we'll just do a save for Guthrum here. 3. So that's -3 now. Another... right, so the heal check doesn't work from Rinja. -4 for Guthrum. Another heal check. No, that's a fail. -5 here. Another Rinja. No, that's a fail. So then we're on -6. It looks like Guthrum might end up dying here. Another fail on the heal check, but he stabilizes. Right. Disaster. Absolute disaster. Rinja is not going to check the other sacks at this point. And then the resting will occur. This door is locked. This door is barred. We're going to roll a D. I mean, it doesn't mention really wandering monsters in this module. We're going to do a D6 to see if any of the kobolds here actually go to investigate. We'd say on a 1 or 2 that they will at some point investigate during this day. We rolled a 1. So the kobolds will investigate this room, find that it's all locked and everything. Find that this trap has been dismantled and will be suspicious. So we'll say that this is going to help with their planning. The following day they might try to do some sort of attack on the door, but they'll find that it's completely blocked with tables at this point anyway. So yeah, we'll do another day of resting. Rinja will try and do a heal check on Yerrick, but he fails, so we're only getting 1 hit point back. That does bring him to 0. Now, he's unable to have prepared his spells, but I think that the ones that he had previously prepared, he would still have. Therefore, he can begin to do some healing. So, in terms of what he's got, I mean, he can spontaneously change any. So we've got some cure minor wounds and some cure light wounds. I guess he'll start a cure light wounds on himself in replacement of magic weapons. So he'll give himself 1d8 plus 1, because after doing that he would fall unconscious. But so he's getting 3 plus 1, so he's getting 4 hit points. Let's see who else he heals. He decides to give Akihito another d8 plus 1. That's 4 as well. So he's on 2 hit points. Then he's got 1, 2, 3 minor wounds that he can do. So I guess he can give everybody an extra 1 hit point. See, at this early stage, if I was to make some changes, I would say that being in minuses doesn't necessarily mean that you're unconscious. Maybe it would knock you out unconscious during a battle, but after that you're just basically exhausted and cannot do very much. That would reduce the amount of actual time required for resting. But there has been 24 hours since 3 of these characters got diseased by the contagion. So what we're going to need to do is roll for the disease. Now I'm just going to open up the character sheets in PC Gen. So the disease itself, I think it does like a dexterity damage or strength damage or something like that. Let's have a quick look. In the case of infection, nothing transpires for the first 24 hours after a failed save. This is the Burning Plague's incubation period. After 24 hours have passed, the infected and now contagious adventurers suffers the temporary ability loss of 1d4 con. Once per day afterwards, he or she must make a successful fortitude saving throw to avoid further con loss at the same rate of 1d4 points of temporary loss a day. So 3 of the characters are, well, they're contagious. So I think that there's going to, Rinya at least is going to need to do another, well, all 3 of them I suppose are going to need to do more checks. So Rinya passes, Phantom passes, Akihito passes, so they're all fine. One D4 con damage, so Gothram takes 1. Let's make a note of this then. So con damage. Gothram -1. Yerrick -1. Good. Valdis -1. Not too bad. And they're each going to have to make another check. So there's no way of curing the plague except for waiting out the disease or receiving the benefits of the removed disease spell. Before I do these checks, I need to actually modify the constitutions, because that's going to affect things. So Gothram, his constitution is now 15. Oh, hold on. Okay, my sheets need updating here a little bit. Okay. Bear with me a second while I do this. So this is going to be... Okay, so Gothram is on 15. That means his fortitude save goes down by 1. Okay, my sheet's a little bit messed up here. Never mind, we'll deal with this later on. So Gothram, fortitude is fortitude DC is 13. His fortitude is 5. He gets +2 bonus. That's 7. But it's gone down by 1, so 6. So he needs to roll 7 or higher. He rolls a 5, obviously. So Yerrick, his constitution is 13. So that goes down to 12. But that will not modify his fortitude, so he still has 3. So he needs to roll 10 or more. So he passes. So he is no longer infected. But Gothram is still infectious, so all of these people can get infected again. Valdis, his constitution is 10. That will go down to 9, which means he'll have -1 on his fortitude save, so he rolls a 2. He's still infected, so the next day he'll need to check as well. Another day of rest. And I suppose Yerrick is going to be trying to do a heal check on... can you do multiple people healing at the same time, I wonder? You can tend up to 6 patients at a time. Okay. Do we have a healing kit for Yerrick? No. Let's give him -2 penalty because he might not have the right supply. So we're doing DC 15. Rinya is going to try and help him, so his wisdom is 11, so he just needs to roll 10 in order to help. Yerrick for heal has 8. So we need to roll at 7 for each person, or a 5 if Rinya helps. So I'm going to do the light green dice for Rinya helping. Okay, so Gothram fails. Fenton succeeds. Valdis fails. Akihito succeeds. So that means Gothram will be at -3 after this rest. We're on 5 here for Yerrick. Fenton succeeded, so he's on -2. Valdis, we said that did not succeed, so he's on -2. And Akihito will now be on 4. Right, Yerrick can cast the rest of his spells, so we're going to do on Gothram, we'll do a Cure Light Wounds for 5 points of damage. It's giving him a 2. Fenton, he can have a Light Wounds as well. I rolled a 2, so it's only 3, so he's on 1. And Valdis, well, he's going to get the 3 Cure Minor Wounds, so that gives him on 1. Everybody is back up, but in bad state. But at least they can sort of like leave the dungeon and travel to the nearby town for healing and rest, sort of thing. Which is something I don't like to have in the games. I don't know. It seems to spoil the immersion a little bit if they keep having to go out and then come back and all that sort of thing. But maybe there is a better way of presenting it narratively. We'll do the experience as well. So they fought the rats, but it was only actually we'll include Gothram in it, but it was only Gothram and Rinya that dealt with that. The rats are CR1 for 8 rats, so we'll set CR half, because they only did half of them, obviously. And they didn't actually search the rest of the barrels, but they'll do that when they return. So let's quickly work out the experience points, which I always forget exactly where they are. It's going to be in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Right, okay, party level is 1 to 3. So there was the Thunderstone Trap. That's 300 experience points because it was level 1. Kobolds are EL 1.5. So it's going to be 450. The weasel was CR2, so that's 600. And the rat's going to be worth 150. So everybody gets 300 plus 450 plus 600 divided by 6, 225 each. And then 150 divided by 2 is 75, so 75 each for Guthrum and Rinya. So let me just update my sheets here. So we're saying 225 for Akihito, 225 for Fenton, 300 for Guthrum, 225 for Yerrick, Rinya is 300 and Valdis is 225. Rinya is at 810. He's almost gone up. He is the most experienced due to the fact that he is been in every single encounter. So I'm going to end that there. They're going to go back to the town. Just for simple. If I was running this game for somebody, I would make it that they would need to maybe be sieged by the kobolds from the other area at this point. But I'm going to keep it simple. They're going to leave. They're going to go back to town. I'll need to do a couple more rolls for disease. But that will be it. They'll also sell the gem, and also they have that 99 gold pieces that they can divide between themselves for 16.5 each. And I'll look up if there is some rules for like haggling. Some diplomacy check or something. But otherwise, maybe I'll just sell the gem at that value. I'll check whether they're supposed to be sold